Student Online Affairs. And
I'm Taka Baracona, Assistant Director from the Study and Program Services. So today we are going to go over two things. The first are just general December resources that you can use as a student who's going to hopefully have a little bit of a break soon. And then Shilpa's going to go over a LinkedIn tutorial. So if you brought your tablets or your laptops, if not, just bring out a piece of paper, jot down some notes, and make changes afterward. That's what I did last night after I watched Shilpa do this. That was very helpful. What I want to start out with is a very simple overview of some things that you can use to kind of take a break. I know it's a very stressful time of year with finals and you're finishing your field placements. So if you go to our NYU classes page for December, it's really just about burnout, work-life balance, and some type of mindfulness/self-care resources. It's very important for your social workers to be mindful of these resources because you need to take care of yourself first. I just want to highlight a couple things that as NYU students you can do for free that you may not have known about. I want to start with the Mindfulness Project, which is NYU's kind of mindfulness wellness center. It is run by somebody who's actually an adjunct here, who's wonderful, teaches classes on social work and mindfulness practice. You can do free yoga and meditation at NYU. You don't even need a map, they'll provide them for you. And they're just across the street. They're all during the day, so if you go to the weekly meditation and yoga schedule, you can see there are 2 drop-in meditation classes, Monday and Tuesday evening. And there are multiple yoga classes every day, different levels. There's even one on Saturdays for female-identified participants only. Really great because, why spend the money for yoga outside of Tuesday week? So take advantage of that. Another thing I want to call your attention to are the programs and events at the Health and Wellness Center. There are a number of certificate programs, like an action zone program, which is bystander intervention. If you want to do something that's going to kind of boost your resume or give you a little bit more credentials, you can certainly do a one-time event at Wellness, which is relevant to you guys as social workers. There's also ongoing programs. A lot of people don't know that they have Stress Busters, which is weekly free massages for students here. So those are the types of opportunities you can take advantage of. I also want to call your attention to NYU Athletics, which has just a lot of different registration courses for recreation classes, something else you might be interested in. And the last thing I want to show you is Museum Gateway. NYU has partnerships with a number of museums throughout New York City, and you can meet or just go for free, bring your ID. Sometimes you can bring a guest for free as well. It's actually great to not have to pay $20, $25 to go to all these different museums. And it's a good time over winter break to look into some of those resources. They're available year-round, but this is probably the time you're going to have to do it. So we made it light this month because you have enough to do. So if you need a break, take advantage of some of these. Yeah?
And sorry, you said our website initially, one of your first times. I just wanted to see where all those resources were.
So you can find everything. Yeah, let me just close this up. So everything is under, when you go to my exercise and NYU classes, your regular NYU classes. On this side it says projects.
Right.
At Silver CPD is going to be one of those. Click on it, and when you click on it, you go to the lessons tab, which is over on this button here, and you'll see December 2014. You can click on advanced or foundations, it's the same curriculum for this month. If you're graduating, you typically want to go for advanced. If you're not graduating, go for foundations. And all the links here are available for you to just take a look at. Okay? So Shilpa, do you want to take it away? Sure.
any other questions about wellness, mindfulness, balance? No? Okay. So Takako just said we kept the curriculum a little light this month because you have finals. And I'm going to probably give you more stuff to do. So first, it's a very rudimentary sign-in sheet. Just put your name and your net ID, please. So we're going to talk about LinkedIn. And I'm going to sit down here. Yeah. Okay. So LinkedIn, it's your professional networking website. Who all is on LinkedIn? Good. Everyone needs to be on LinkedIn. It's the way you build your network. It's the way you learn more about what's going on in your industry. It's also a good way for you to be noticed by people who are in the position to make hiring decisions. 47% of LinkedIn users are decision makers. Those are the people you want to be in front of so that they can do your job, the job that you want. It's a wealthy network of members, and basically you want to treat your online profile kind of like as if you were getting ready for a career fair. You know, you want it to look nice, you want it to have, that there's thought put into it. It's not just a bunch of stuff you put online and then call it a day. So the goal is that when you Google yourself, your LinkedIn profile, that link is the very first link there. And there are ways to do that, and we'll talk about that. But an aside, you should be Googling yourself and actually have a Google alert set up for your name anyway, just so you know what's being said about you, what is out there. All of these sites, their privacies change almost daily. And so it's really important for you to know what the privacy levels are for Facebook, Twitter, etc., and whatever you're putting out there. And also be aware of when you're putting something out there, would you be okay with it being, for example, on the front page of the Times? If not, then maybe take a second and think about does it need to go online or not, especially when you're job searching. So that's that. Let's see, why use LinkedIn? Well, before that, go ahead and jot down this link, students.linkedin.com. I'm not going to go into it, but it's a really good resource with trainings and with a number of different modules that you can use. Students.linkedin.com. Okay, so LinkedIn, you can see the people that you are directly linked with are called your first level connections. Their connections are your second level connections, and then people beyond that, either the second level connections or group members, or your third level connections. You can contact your first level connections, but you can always see who, depending on how people have their privacy set up, you can see who they're linked to, and that's where magic comes in as far as knowing who to contact for an introduction, etc. Let's see. Okay. So let's start off. We're going to start off, and this is going to be interactive. So pull out your LinkedIn, and we're going to go here. We're going to start off by hovering over your tiny picture on the side, and see where it says privacy and settings. You want to click manage. And it's going to make you log in again. The same thing as yesterday. So here we are, and we click on manage. There we go. Okay. So when you're making any kind of changes to your profile, it shows up on your homepage for everyone that you're connected with, right? So when you're doing this overhaul with like adding a picture and making your headline perfect, etc., you're going to be bombarding everyone's feed, and you don't want to do that. You want to have your profile perfect, and then maybe bombard their feed, not bombard it, but ping their feed one time so that they know, oh wow, there were changes made. So the way you turn off that activity is called your activity broadcast. So you click on this and you say, no, do not let people know when you're changing your profile. Okay?
What's the one on the screen? I didn't see where.
Okay, so you went to here, picture, manage, and then right here, turn off activity broadcast. Click on that and this pops up.
Thank you.
So you want to make sure this is not checked. Now once you're done, then go ahead and check it, because then you don't want people to know, hey, I made some changes, right? But when you're making a bunch of changes, you don't want to have this checked. Okay, so that's the first thing. Who can see your activity feed? When you're job searching, you want everybody to see it. You want to make sure people know what you're up to, that they, if there's something interesting going on, that you're adding information, you want to make sure that they can see it. If later, once you have your own client set up, etc., you want to limit it, you can by either just your network or your connections or just yourself. So it's good to know about. Okay, so when I look at my homepage, it says, hey, I have 5 people who looked at me in the past 3 days. That's pretty cool. I'm interested in that because, hey, maybe one of them is, a resource for me. Maybe I'm looking for a job and one of these people is at a position, is interested in hiring me, right? So this is important. Now, for me to be able to see, when I go here, I can see, okay, who's looked at me? Let's take a look. Scroll down and say, oh, okay, somebody who's a LinkedIn member. There's Caitlin, and then there's a couple of other students. Okay, cool, that makes sense, because I gave a workshop yesterday. Now, what's the difference between, why is this person just coming up as a LinkedIn member versus the other people with their information? It's because that's how this person wants to show up. So let's say I know that this is Takako. Or let's say Takako was set up so that her information never shows up when she goes to somebody's page. And I go to Taco Bell's page, she doesn't get any of this information. Does that make sense? So if I don't want anyone knowing that they're looking at my page, that I'm looking at their page, I don't get to know who looks at mine. Does that make sense? So where all of that is done is going back to here, where we first work, what others see when you view their profile. Okay? They can either see all of your information, just an abbreviated version, like maybe just your title and the company that you work for, or nothing at all. So that first person that we saw, that person had selected nothing at all, which is why I didn't see who it was, right? But if I happened to be on that person's page somehow, they would know that I looked at. They don't get that option at all to see who's looked at your profile. Does that make sense? So you want to pick this first one because you're looking for a job, and it's okay for you to look at other people's profiles. It's okay for them to know that you're looking at their profiles because you're either interested in them or their company or in benchmarking and seeing how they set up their profiles. It's all about getting the right resources together and using it, harvesting, as one of our faculty members calls it. Okay? Then let's see. This is more so for later as well. You can select who gets to see your connections. Again, this is when you have like more of a client base or whatever. Do you want them, if they're linked in with you, do you want them to be able to see who you're linked in with or not? Or if you have an open profile, do you want them to see who your contacts are? It's up to you. So that's there, again, for future reference. Any questions so far? Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go to the profile. First and foremost, yes, quite a cheesy picture, but clear background. I'm dressed how I would have been dressed for an interview, and it's just like a plain front orange check. You don't want it to be cropped out of a picture where you can tell that it was a family picture and you had to squiggle somebody out. You don't want it to be doing something that is questionable. You don't want it to be dressed inappropriately. Again, this is your front-facing representation online. So you want it to be just plain and simple. Okay? Next semester, we're going to be doing LinkedIn photos. So you'll come in, we'll take a picture of you, we'll send it to you, so you'll have that option. So in the meantime, put something in. It is very important that you put a picture because people want to know who they're about to work with, who they're about to link with. It helps immensely. Having, I remember that Courtney said the other day, if you got a LinkedIn request and there's no picture, you won't add the person, even if it goes there. Because it's just, it brings a level of authenticity. Okay? Second thing, this is my LinkedIn link. That's my link, specifically. LinkedIn.com/in/Shilpa Hegde. Now, when you sign up for LinkedIn, that's all what shows up. It's / blah, 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 numbers and letters, totally random. You can't really just copy and paste that and put that in your resume or in your signature. It doesn't look professional, it doesn't look clean. So you want to edit that. And you want to personalize it. The way you do that is you go to Profile, Edit Profile, and then you know you're in edit mode when all these little crayons appear. And you click on the word Edit. Okay? And then, when you click on it, you have to go down just a bit to where it says your public profile URL. Click on the little crayon, and you write in what you wanted to say. You want it to say your name. Okay? Just like with email addresses, you don't want it to be crazy about Harry Potter girl, blah, blah, blah. You want it to say your name, say your professional image, this is who you are, this is your brand. If you have a more common name, you may need to put in your middle name. You can try putting periods in, things like that, or putting a number at the end. That also works. So, but this is your opportunity to personalize it. This is something you really must do because that's all your resumes, pretty much most of your resumes that you send out are digital. And so you can put your link right in there and it clicks to, hey, this is everything about me. Okay? So you want to do that. Now let's just talk for a second, what is a LinkedIn profile? So when you're searching for a job, there are a variety of positions that you might be interested in. Okay, so I'm going to use myself as an example. In my career, I've done student life, I've done admissions, I've done advising, right? So when I'm looking for a job, maybe those are the ones that I'm interested in. I'm not going to submit a resume with just student life stuff highlighted for an advising position. That doesn't make sense. Or vice versa. You want to tailor your resume for each position that you apply to, right? So when you're doing that, you're not sending out the exact same resume every time. You're sending out versions of it. What your LinkedIn profile does is it's your master resume. It's all of the information about everything you've done, and it's okay to have everything here. It's okay that maybe the stuff that you're most interested about in positions that you're most interested in, or job functions you're most interested in, or excited about, or proud about, are towards the top. Those are your top bullets. But that all of the information is here. It's your catch-all resume, if you will. Okay? So that's what this is. Now, in order for people to find you want to make sure they, if they're looking for certain keywords, you pop up. There are certain places to do that. Your prime real estate is right here. This guy right here is called your headline. This is where I do not practice what I preach. That's the generic way to go. Okay? I'm not looking right now, so I just made it the generic. That's my title. This is where I work, and that's call it a day. You don't want it to be that way. You have 120 characters to make this headline pop. So let's go to some good examples. This is a colleague of mine, Annette. She's a career coach, and so she put speaker, trainer, exec coach, consultant, recruiter, chief people officer. That is her company name. She went ahead and put it in there. She put her main job functions and interests. So if I'm looking for someone who's a speaker and a consultant, and I type in those keywords, she's going to pop up because that's front and center on her headline. Another great resource person to harvest from is Lindsay Pollock. She came to Wasserman earlier in the semester and did a speaker. She's a LinkedIn ambassador. She's a New York Times best-selling author. These are all things that pop up and are keywords for her. Spokesperson for Hartford. Like all of these things are a great way for her to use her headline. Does that make sense? Yes.
So, people who are just graduating and are looking for a job, if you don't have experience in a particular, or maybe you have maybe like 1 year experience from your placement, what would you put in your headline?
You want to put your keywords. You want to put, if you can get a job title in there, like, you don't have to put you can put student, you should put NYU, but that's not where you start. You could put student, social justice activist, certified therapist in whatever, like there's ways to craft it together, and we can work on that. You can go, Wasserman has some amazing resources. You can sit down and talk to somebody about, hey, how do I make my LinkedIn better? But don't just leave it like I did. It's kind of like your elevator pitch, what you want to do, where you want to be. And you want to put those buzzwords in there. Putting student is good, putting NYU is good, because that's a big part of your brand right now. But just saying student, NYU, social work, Silver School social work, leaving it, not what you want to do. Don't be casual. So I love Annette's headline, but she put exec coach. Exec isn't a searchable term necessarily. More so than say higher ed. I used to put higher ed strategist. That's not a searchable term. Higher education strategist, maybe. So you want to make sure that you're not abbreviating things, thinking that, oh, everyone gets it, they know what I'm saying. But when people are using search engines, when searching through LinkedIn, that may not pop up. What else? I think I said this, I'd go into Word, draft it, craft it, and then put it in. And that way you can even put in like the little lines and stuff like that. Okay. The next best place, real estate on your LinkedIn profile. summary. Right here. Okay. Your summary is basically your catch-all cover letter. Okay? This is where you talk about what you've done, where you want to go, what your experience is, where your interests lie. So for career changers, this is where you can highlight your internship experience and how that's, that's something you want to get into based off of what you've experienced in school or coursework, what you've learned, things like that. You can make it first person, you can make it third person, it's completely up to you. The only reason why I would advocate third person a little bit more is because that way you put in your name again and again, and then that ups, there's something called search engine optimization, so your SEO is increased, and so you show up higher. Your LinkedIn link shows up a little bit higher in Google. There's a method to this method.
Thank you. I have to catch the train.
So, take care. Well, we're recording it, so hopefully we'll send that the link. So that's what you do here. You can also add bullets. So if you want to, so for example, Annette here, you should put her specialties. Executive coaching, leadership, human resources, they're all there. And again, those are all her keywords, right? So if I'm searching any of these things, these will come up. And she didn't have to write full sentences or paragraphs about them, she just listed them there. It's genius. So make sure you, again, put this one in the Word as well, draft it, make sure it looks the way you want, and then put it in.
How long should that be?
I think your max characters are 2,000. Stay with that. Okay. Skills and endorsements. So, you go down and you put your experience, where you've worked, what you did there, etc. And you can put in projects, depending on how you want to set up your profile. Then there's this area called skills. So skills are basically, she put in all of her keywords and her skills in there, and people can endorse her. So maybe when you log in, it'll say, hey, do you want to endorse Shilpa for leadership and training? And you can say yes or no, it's completely up to you. And when I'm looking at Annette, more than 99 people have endorsed her for recruiting. And if you haven't, then you get the opportunity to also. But she has more skills listed below, and some of them are not endorsed, and that's okay, because the thing is she's still her profile is still being associated with those skills, right? So it doesn't matter if someone endorsed it or not. And an endorsement basically is like, it's similar to when you're on Facebook and you hit like, you're liking your skill. So not many people put that much weight into the endorsement itself. It's more into the fact that that skill is there and her profile comes up because it's associated with that. There is a course section. Now here's the thing. I should have said this earlier. These platforms change almost daily. So we're going over it right now. The way that it looks and feels may change completely in the next couple of weeks. That's just the way online interfaces are. So previously there was a section called courses. I haven't been able to find it in the last couple of days, but as you're doing yours, you should put that on there and put relevant coursework that you've taken, not stuff you're planning to take. So especially for people who are planning on changing careers, if there's coursework that's directly related to the industry that you want to go into, put that on there. So it kind of gives you a little bit more credibility that you're training with. You want to put your school information, and then the great thing here is you can also put media. So if there was a presentation that you did, or a paper that you wrote, you published, things like that, you can connect it here and have it be a part of your LinkedIn profile. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so let's just talk about this real quickly. Then there's additional information. Interests. You can put your interests, again, more keywords, but something that I learned from Lindsay Pollock, you can put in here how your name is commonly misspelled. So my last name is Hedge. It looks like the word hedge, and it's not the word hedge. So I can put Shilpa Hedge in here, because then if somebody's searching for me, me with that misspelled last name, my profile will still be pulled up. So you'll ask, okay, but then why are you randomly putting your last name weird? Not many people, like, first of all, this is so far down. I scrolled really slowly today, which is why I was able to find it immediately. But yesterday when I was trying to find it, I couldn't find the interest section to make this point. So that's a common strategy these days, to put in any misspelled names, the way your name is misspelled, or if you had like a different maiden name and a different married name, or if you change your name for any other reason, that's a good place to put it. Okay? So let's say you drafted this amazing profile and you're kind of like, okay, I think I'm good to go. How do you test it out? Well, it's really easy. Go to the top and you hover over jobs. Okay, LinkedIn, here's my profile. Tell me what you think I should apply to, what you think I'd be interested in. Now, if it works well, what you're interested in will show up. All right? So let's see. What does LinkedIn think I want? See? We have here Director of Admissions, Student Development, we have a slide, more schools. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess my profile reads like a higher ed profile, which is what I wanted. So this is a great way to kind of test out, am I getting my point across the way that I think? Okay? So that's that. And then you can look through the jobs too. That's always a good place to look. Okay, any questions so far? Yes.
I saw a job that I was interested in on LinkedIn, and it had an option to apply now via LinkedIn. But I was wondering what's more effective, because I also wrote a cover letter for that job, and my resume, like there's certain things in the resume that are different than the LinkedIn profile. So I kind of think that the second choice is a better way to go, because it's like more tailored to that job. But then I saw that option, so I was wondering.
You know, that's a very good question. My personal opinion is to not apply to it.
Yeah.
You can reference that later when you get the opportunity for those reasons. So you can say, you can tailor your resume, you can tailor a cover letter, you can make it more individualized and specific. Because let's be honest, okay, so job searching in general it's a time-consuming process. One of the reasons why we're doing this session now is because you're about to have technically a month break, right? And yes, you'll have field, but you won't have classes. So you have this. This is a time, because that's the first thing people always say, I don't have time, too busy. Well, now we're giving you this great gift, which is a little bit more time, but we're going to fill it with something else you need to do. So in that time, that's when you tailor make those resumes and things like that. After you apply, through the actual agency or whatever, then you go on LinkedIn and you search the agency name to see who in your network knows somebody in that agency. So let's say you see that we're connected and you see that I know somebody who's in that group that you're interested in. So you can reach out to me, Shilpa, I'm really interested in company XYZ. Do you think you can make an introduction for me? Right. And I can do that.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's how you use LinkedIn. And you don't want just your application to be the only source of information that they have, just the information you're giving them. You want it to come from references and referrals, and everybody's telling you, hey, this applicant is amazing, you have to interview her. Then you get the interview, and from there it's your show. Then you can completely close the deal. But before that, you have to make sure that they know how amazing you are because everyone's telling them. And the way you get to that point is because you see connections through LinkedIn. One of the ways. Yes.
So I just wanted to build on what you were saying. I don't know if this is as pure in the agency or educational community, but certainly for a lot of businesses, internal reference means the world. You go right to the top of the pile. So again, just underscoring the point of if you find people who know people, getting an introduction and having internally the resume submitted, I would say, I think of as always being the number one approach. And then you build your village, as Shilpa said, you have coffee with whoever you know there and talk to them. But if you can get it internally submitted, after that, then submitting it directly to their HR headhunter to the department you're interested in is best. But if you can, and that's where LinkedIn is so powerful, is in providing you that internal pathway.
And the reason why is, think about it. If I'm going to hire someone, I'm going to not only invest time in training this person, making sure that they're a good fit with my office and what we're doing, etc. That's a lot of resources or some time to put in. So, do I want to pick a candidate that I interview and I blindly pick, and you're taking a little bit of a chance? Or if Takako comes to me and says, hey, I know this perfect person, or I know this person who's interested, I can vouch for her, this is her record, this is how I know her. I put more faith in that because there's already experience that's coming in. And so it's a stronger application. Yeah. Yes?
If I'm setting something up over the break and there's something that's a bit chunky or I want to see everything, how do I start setting up that it's not really out there yet? Is it just in the middle? Do I really need to know what I'm doing when I start this?
So, the first thing is you turn off that activity, were you here when we talked about that, the activity broadcast?
You said, yeah.
Yes, so you turn that off, so you're not telling people, hey, I updated this, hey, I updated this, look at that. But your profile is still live. That means if I looked up your name, I would still see you. So, it sounds like you want to kind of be offline completely before people can see you.
Yeah, I want to just put in a name, put in contact number maybe, but okay, now that we get in the restaurant finished, I'm ready to sort out how I want to present myself.
So,
that way I can but I don't have LinkedIn, but I go on LinkedIn and see things without being on there myself. That's why I want to.
you can go on LinkedIn and see things, but it's limited because you don't have LinkedIn.
So that's
It's
how I
only
start.
people who are saying, hey, everybody can look at me, So you might be able to see those things. People who are a little more private, people who are a little more restricted, you won't be able to see their information. But I would advocate, go ahead and put your profile out there. And while you're working on it, that's fine. As long as you have a picture, you have your summary and your headline, and just a brief thing of your experiences, that's fine. Because the thing is, you don't want to miss that opportunity when someone's looking for your name and doesn't find you and says, okay, well, she's not even on LinkedIn. That's kind of odd. I thought she was looking for a job. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to ever be in that situation. So that's what this month is for. You get this month as a gift to get this sorted out, to get this up and ready to go. So when you come back in January, you're ready to network, you're ready to go to step 2 and how to build your connections and move forward from there.
I think one in my first year that I don't really need to be doing that.
Oh, no. You need to start doing this first day you're here. First day you're here.
Because I'm not looking for a job until I'm...
But it's always about networking. Because the thing is what if we met now, and my best friend is the head of an agency that you would love to work at, but we never connected. Because you said you're not looking for a job. But next year when you are looking for a job, you forgot my name, forgot what I look like, we're not connected in any way, and you miss that opportunity. You never know who people know, right? So I used to work in business schools, and I would always tell my students, I'm like, just because I work in education doesn't mean you should write me off. My husband's pretty high up in a financial firm, and you would have totally lost out on that connection. So you never know who people know. And I have nothing to do with business or finance, but we're connected, right?
Is there any kind of connection with LinkedIn and Facebook? There's no...
No.
People can see
No.
there's no...
No, and it's done that way on purpose. Facebook is your personal platform, this is your professional.
Are you discussing Facebook as well?
No. This is all LinkedIn. And trust me, we're going to run out of time with this too. Okay, so, someone is asking me the summary section, it is 22,000 characters. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your homepage. Right here. So when you log into LinkedIn, it takes you to the homepage. Here's what's going on in your homepage. It's, hey, this is what your profile looks like. You want to change it? Gives you that option. And then it tells you, hey, 6 people have looked at you in the last couple of days. You can take a look at what that means. You did that and why. You can say, oh, look, there's 6 ways. It usually tells you 6 ways to stay in touch. And so the way that, Robert has a work anniversary. So, I haven't talked to Robert in a while, went to school with him, maybe I'll say congratulations. So I can say congratulations. I can either just say congrats, like it's auto-populated, or I can write in my own message and send that off. Or let's say I don't want to, and I just skip it. Then it tells me, okay, I'm all caught up, and it tells me who I might know. Now here is the gold of this. Based on LinkedIn's algorithms and who I know and what I've done, they think that I might know these people. So let's see if I do. I'll use Angel again. I know Angel. Haven't contacted him in a while. Let's go ahead and connect. So I hit connect. It's going to ask me how I know Angel, and then it's going to say optional. You can include a personal note. This is not optional. This is not optional. This is your handshake with this person. So let's say, Angel and I were RAs together in college, right? Which is true. And now, let's say he's the head, he's a dean at a university that I want to work for. I'm not just going to say, I'd like to add you to my professional network. No, I want to say something more profound, like, hey, Angel, it's so awesome to see you, and it's wonderful to see you on LinkedIn. I know we lost touch. Be interested to, catching up with you. Do you mind if we, connect on LinkedIn? Doesn't have to be, an essay, something short and sweet, because people usually are busy and feel like they don't have time. You want it to be professional, spelled well, but personalized. That's big. So if you send me a request like this, I'm not going to accept it, because you need to personalize it. This is your handshake. That's the first thing. Second thing, you go back to your mini feed, and there's all of these stories here. I follow a bunch of people. So I follow JT O'Donnell. She is CEO for a website called careerrealism.com, because I do career development. So she is always posting articles about different ways to interview, blah, 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 things that I read and I pass on to you all. So I follow her to see what articles she's posting, so I can pass that along. I follow other people who are, either higher ed specialists or different things that I'm interested in, and I pass those on, just so I'm knowledgeable about what's going on with me. Now, I also see, okay, there's someone in my network has commented on this article, and it's showing up on my mini feed. So that means if I comment on an article, it's going to show up on my network's mini feed. And regardless, of course, you want it to be a thoughtful comment. You want it to be an article that you're okay with being associated with, but that gets me front of mind with all of my network, which is huge, especially when I'm looking for a job. So you need to be up and ready on your mini feed. If there's something that you're interested in, something that resonates with you, don't be fake, be authentic. But don't be afraid to comment, because it helps you. Okay? So let's keep going. What else? Let's say, so this is another one of my former students, and she posted this article, or not this article, this opportunity on LinkedIn, so I can either like it. By liking it, again, it's just a like, just like Facebook, but it makes her more aware of me, right? Oh, she'll go back to my thing. Wonder what she's up to. How's she doing, right? I can comment on it, again, front of mind with her. Or I could just read it and be more knowledgeable. Now let's say I'm really interested in this article. Wow, that's such a great article. I want to post it. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go to my profile. And here it says, what's on your mind? Okay, let's make this on my mind. So I'm going to paste the link. Notice how when I paste the link, that thing shows up immediately under, right? That, now, if I go on and I delete the actual link that I pasted in, the link stays. This is kind of LinkedIn. I think the same thing works in Facebook. And now I can write what my comments are, or what my thought is, or if I want to quote something for the article. And so it looks like this is what I'm saying, here's the article, and then I'm posting it out there. And then I have the option of, do I want it to be shared with everyone? Do I want it only just certain people? Do I want it on Twitter? I get all of these options. But again, it makes me front of mind. Now you can do the exact same thing with a group. So, here's a group that all of you need to join, because I made it. It's the NYU Silver Students and Alumni Group. Why do you need to join this group? Because it's the only official school-sponsored LinkedIn group for current students. We have alumni stuff. This is the only one for current students. And it just started, so it's not, it doesn't have as many members, but that's what we're working on. But the thing is as people graduate and become alumni, and as different alumni see this group, they're going to join in. So if you do the same thing that I just told you, let's say, I'm going to post an article, right? Same thing. I'm going to post it here, I'm going to write about it, and people are going to say, wow, that's really insightful. That's interesting. Who is this Shilpa person? Let me look her up. She looking for a job? Let me look her up. And yes, people will ask that. Why? Because alumni have a vested interest in making sure that current students are doing well. If you do well, the school looks better. The school looks better, the brand, the rankings stay high. The rankings stay high, the better their own resumes look because of, they went there. So they have a vested interest. And they're good people. You want to make sure you're doing well. So this is how to stay in front of mind with them. Okay? Putting something like, and I'm guilty of this too, interesting read. What do you think? Wow, didn't know that. No, not thoughtful, not insightful. I want to know what you're thinking. Why would you take the time to post an article? Tell me. Quote it. And say, didn't realize that, blah, 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 and you can quote it. Or bring up a discussion, something that you're really interested in. Don't make it fit. Be authentic. Okay? It's another way of staying top of mind. Now, these influencers that were on my front page, my home page here, go through and you can, if you go through interests and then click on posts, you can see who LinkedIn calls their influencers. There's a bunch of people, they're from all walks of life and all different industries. Find the people that resonate with you. If there's someone who's, look, this guy is an author, consultant, and a trainer. That's something that you're really interested in. Go ahead and add him. Whatever he posts will come into your mini feed, and that's, again, more information that's being packaged and sent to you that you can use in these for these techniques. Okay? That's that. Any questions so far? It's a lot of information, I know. Okay. I'm just going to go over one last thing, and we only have 10 minutes. So here, when you go on interests, again, you click on education. There's this amazing alumni tool. So, let's see, right there was going to click, Texas comes up for me. That's my alma mater. But I'm going to go through and search.
Can you have more than one university under that particular tab?
Yes, you can. You can look them up. Circle. There we go. And then we're going to click on students and alumni. And so this is basically LinkedIn is telling me information about all the students and all the alumni that are on LinkedIn and their information based on the school. So I want someone who's in New York, who works, let's see. Works from Mount Sinai. And who does education. Okay. There are 29 people who are like that. So I'm going to go down and see who these 29 people are. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is.
That is kind of mind-blowing. And not only that, I can see these people and I can see, am I connected with them at all? Of course, I can see them when I'm not. Let's see. It would have shown me my connections first. But if you can see if you're connected with them, you can see if, let's see if I can find that one. And then I can X out, let's say I don't want education, I just want community and social services. Who's here? Okay. So, with this person, yes, I have one connection. Courtney. Courtney knows this person, Elizabeth. And so let's say I really wanted to get in touch with her. I can ask Courtney, can you make an introduction? Like I'll email them offline. can you make an introduction? I saw that on LinkedIn, you're really, you're connected, blah, blah, blah. And then I can set up an informational interview with her. She's an alum of the school, she has a vested interest. Let's talk. And an informational interview allows you the opportunity to completely pick her brain. How did you get into this position? What were your challenges you faced? What advice do you have for me in terms of courses I should take, organizations I should join, et cetera, et cetera. This is gold, and this is not used. So with that, I think I've given you quite a bit to think about, to chew on. So when you come back in January, please have your profile up, your picture, your headline, your summary. Those three things really, really, really need to be there. And then play around with it. Explore LinkedIn. I'm not a full expert. I'm still learning myself. There's always new stuff to come up that you can see and use to your advantage. It really is an amazing tool for you to begin your networking. And while you're, and a great reason to have this up already, while you're over break, is because during all those holiday parties and family gatherings, you want to let people know that you're a student and that you're going to be looking soon, or that you're looking to gain experiences, or just get in contact with who they know. Because job searching doesn't happen when you graduate. It happens the moment you step on campus. You step on campus and you start cultivating those relationships. So if you try to come and talk to me now because you need a job now, I'm going to know that. But if we met earlier and you made it a point to cultivate this relationship, like, hey, Shilpa, I saw this article about career development, thought you'd be interested in it. Send it on to me. That's it. Wondering how you're doing. Send it on to me. Engage me in that conversation so it's a relationship. That's what networking is. And those relationships, I'm much more likely to have, look out for the best interests of a person who's really engaged with me and paid attention to this and put effort into it than someone who comes to me last minute and is like, hey, how are you doing? Okay, yeah, I need a job. What do I do? Does that make sense? It starts now. It's a lot of work. It's hard work. But the thing is, if you wanted just any old job, you could easily get any old job. You want that perfect job for you. And that's going to take work, and that's what makes it worth it. And that's my street. Thank you all. Have your homework. And yes. Do you have a question?
Yeah, just I wanted to actually something on Facebook. But it's not listen.
Sure.
What do you do if you have, I set up my privacy settings, I stopped putting things like that. I didn't really do that much, so I didn't know what I wanted to put out there, make a mistake, and how do you fix that one? They told me about married one day, I went, no, I'm trying to say I am married. Just like those silly things. And then, even though I tried to set the privacy, I had a teenager who, oh gosh, what's her name?
Sorry, you're
You turn it off, right? You got a mouse going there.
Oh my God, there is.
Oh, Lord.
All right, we'll get ready to switch the table.
That is right here.
They have to start when you're coming.
Oh my God.
Let's wrap. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's wrap.
Yeah.
And then get out.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's get
Just my question was,
Yes,
is
sorry.
this something that I should be doing to protect myself from the 16-year-old that says dumb things and then says my mom? Or things like that? And so
Yeah, you
there,
can,
like,
yeah.
what do you, is there a way to also backtrack? Because I've heard that I didn't read on the CD, the CDB thing about how things can be found later. And I don't know how to set that up. That's why I'm not really, like, I don't really use Facebook that much. I'm saying, I don't know, I like the idea of this because it feels more protected.
Yeah.
And so
This is,
safe.
I mean, it's,
I just need to know how to fix that.
there's not, I mean, stuff that's, for the most part, things like if somebody had put, time on or something like that, that's not going to be ridiculously detrimental. If I were to
Right, but this is someone who's really puts ridiculous things at them.
you should be able to block that person.
Oh, it's in one way I want to say, I have a team. It's good to know what you're doing, but excuse me, please don't identify me as your parent. I don't want to be identified with that garbage, and if you're putting that garbage out there, so that your friends Okay, and keep it to them so we don't know that it's this chapter, that's for private, that's not for public.
That's-
So it's just navigating.
That's, you know, I was going to sponsors. They might have ideas about that.
All right, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, I've been on this way.
Okay, I saw it, and Alicia left, but she
Where,
didn't.
you know, I'm
And
And then I told Amanda there's something where they're going to send me.
Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Can I get you? Oh, yeah, grab one. I was trying to get at it.
I mean, I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just.
I know, you were like,
But I really hate it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.